I just feel like she needs more than just a half-ass version of a husband. Just don't waste our good years.
Darcy Silva didn't lose her beauty to age. She lost it to surgery, denial, and a camera crew that kept rolling. Darcy Silva has long been one of reality television's most enduring enigmas. A woman perpetually chasing love, youth, and symmetry, yet ending up with none. Once the hopeful romantic of 90 Day Fiancé, she now resembles a monument to self-destruction sculpted from Botox, silicone, and denial. The metamorphosis would be fascinating if it weren't so grotesquely sad. Her face, once expressive and pretty, now seems trapped between species, part alien, part puppet, part mortician's experiment. In certain lighting, she recalls the 1950s Hollywood casting trope of yellow-face Mongol warlord, though that comparison feels almost charitable. The tragedy isn't merely aesthetic, it's psychological. A woman who no longer recognizes the person in the mirror, but continues to chase her through syringes and scalpels. No one can claim this is the natural evolution of time. Aging gracefully would have served her far better than whatever unholy alliance she's formed with fillers. Instead, each new procedure seems to drag her further from humanity, her lips swelling toward parody, while her expressions calcify into a permanent pout of self-delusion. At this point, the only miracle would be seeing her dissolve everything and start again. But that, sadly, would likely leave her looking like a deflated balloon rather than a reborn woman. Darcy's tragic mirror image is her twin, Stacey, slightly more restrained, slightly less melted, but traveling the same doomed road. The Silva sisters have turned cosmetic modification into a joint identity, as if being surgically indistinguishable is the highest form of twinship. Watching them together is like watching a codependent experiment in mutual self-destruction. One grimaces, the other nods, and both vanish further behind lacquered lips and microbladed brows that could frighten children. Those brows alone deserve their own cautionary documentary. They're permanently arched into the kind of expression reserved for villains in 1980s cartoons, sharp, furious, and unrelentingly artificial. They can, fortunately, be removed through saline injections or laser treatment, though given the Silva aesthetic philosophy, if it hurts and costs thousands, it must be working. It's unlikely either sister would consider such restraint. Darcy's appearance has become so distorted that even heavily photoshopped images of her circulate online with the caption, "Please tell me this is edited." The sad punchline? No one can tell anymore. The line between filtered fantasy and real flesh has been obliterated. She's become a living optical illusion, a before photo in search of an after that will never arrive. Her behavior, of course, matches her face, dramatic, erratic, and drenched in self-pity. Every relationship she enters is a melodrama with herself as the eternal victim. Her men, inevitably younger and vaguely European, are drawn into her orbit only to flee, choking on the fumes of desperation and tequila. Georgi, the current husband and latest casualty, has the expression of a man serving a life sentence for someone else's choices. His discomfort is palpable, his humiliation public. One could almost pity him if it weren't clear he's clinging to the reality show paycheck like a life raft. Darcy's father, the weary patriarch funding this perpetual carnival of narcissism, has become the face of resigned horror. Viewers have watched his expressions evolve from concern to quiet despair, as his daughters spend his money not on therapy or stability, but on the pursuit of cartoon beauty and toxic men. He's the modern-day King Lear, helpless before the vanity of his children, yet too complicit to walk away. The show's producers must think whatever dark deity granted them this material. The Silva twins are walking parodies of the influencer age, surgically rebuilt yet emotionally crumbling, eternally broadcasting their breakdowns in glittery mini dresses and eyelash extensions the length of small birds. Watching Darcy weep over her reflection, then return for more filler, is like witnessing a psychological experiment conducted in high definition. The cause and effect loop is painfully clear. Public ridicule drives her to more surgery, which produces more ridicule, and so the carousel spins. Her fans, what few remain, often plead that she needs help. Indeed, she does. But help requires self-awareness, and Darcy has replaced that with delusion and contouring. She no longer sees reality, only the version she's filtered through obsession and wine. Her sister's feigned stability only underscores the pathology. Both women are emotionally stunted, their maturity arrested somewhere around 16, when being adored seemed like survival. Now, in their 50s, that adolescent hunger manifests as lip filler and performative breakdowns. Darcy's relationship with alcohol deserves equal blame. Once a tipsy party girl, she has crossed into the territory of public intoxication and televised vomiting. The fashion events and family gatherings inevitably dissolve into slurred declarations of love, mascara-streaked tears, and men fleeing the scene. Her insistence on narrating every move, "I deserve love, I deserve happiness," rings hollow when paired with the footage of her stumbling down a sidewalk, extensions matted, dignity discarded. The family, meanwhile, has mastered the art of enabling. Every meltdown is met with reassurance, every poor decision with indulgence. Were she an addict to something other than surgery and attention, an intervention would have occurred years ago. Instead, the Silva's dysfunction has been packaged and sold for ratings, each episode another hit of validation for women who desperately need detox, not glam squads. And what of the children? Rarely seen, barely mentioned, and clearly peripheral to the family brand. The Silva maternal instinct extends only as far as matching outfits and staged hugs. Their mothering, much like their faces, is cosmetic. The saddest part of all is that Darcy was once beautiful. Not Hollywood perfect, but naturally pretty, charming, and relatable. That woman is gone, buried beneath the very artifice meant to preserve her. What remains is a caricature. Madame Tussauds meets the Real Housewives. The empathy one might have felt for her has been eroded by years of self-inflicted absurdity. The tragedy is no longer hers alone. It's shared by every viewer forced to witness her transformation into a human cautionary tale. If there's a moral to this modern fable, it's that money without restraint becomes poison. For the rich and insecure, there is always a doctor willing to say yes, a scalpel ready to cooperate, a mirror eager to lie. Darcy Silva is what happens when self-love is replaced by self-editing, when the pursuit of beauty turns into a war on one's own face. At this point, even the most skilled surgeon couldn't reverse the damage, externally or internally. Dissolving the filler would only reveal the collapse beneath. Therapy could help, but it would require a humility Darcy has surgically removed. Until then, she remains exactly as she appears. A woman mummified in her own vanity. A reality star turned reality cautionary tale. Forever searching for beauty in the ruins of her own creation. A walking waxwork, a tragicomic relic of the influencer era, and perhaps television's most unintentionally honest portrait of what happens when artifice becomes identity. Darcy Silva isn't aging poorly. She's simply decaying in high definition.